Today in our 2017 GMC Acadia, we're going to take a look at and show you how to install the Roadmaster battery charge line kit for towed vehicles. Part number is RM-156-25. Now our charge line kit takes care of the problem where when we tow our vehicle, the battery drains down. Typically you'll have to leave the key on in a vehicle requiring a charge line kit, so some of the functions stay running. What this provides us is a 15 amp charge going to our battery. It's going to get it from the connector plug on the front of our vehicle here. Just run the provided wire up to our breaker, and then once it goes through our breaker, we'll just run that out to the battery post. It's going to give us a constant charge. The breaker is designed to prevent this from overloading. So if we're working this too much, or if we've got some kind of a major draw going on, at a point the filament inside is going to come up to where it's not making contact. So that allows everything to cool off a little bit, and as it cools, it's going to come back down, make contact, and again continue charging the battery for us. Now this is going to work anytime that we have our vehicle plugged into our RV when the 12 volt signal is live. Now some RVs have a constant 12 volt signal. Some RVs will have a 12 volt signal back only when you've got the ignition on. So be sure to test that out. And if you don't have 12 volts at the back of your vehicle, you can use the RV charge line kit, which is part number RM-156-75, to give you a connection from your RV's battery to the back of your RV. Now for the installation of the charge line kit, we'll take the length of wire, and we're going to be running this from the plug on the front of our towed vehicle up to the battery. As you can see, we still have the fascia off. This is the opportune time to do this. That way you're not going to be fighting with trying to get your arms in behind there or something like that. Now we'll just start our wire here at the front of the vehicle so we can attach that to the plug. The other end of our wire, we need to run this up to our battery. There's a little gap right here. It's pretty easy to go right through there. That gets you back in here behind the panel. We'll just want to bring that excess up. And then of course zip tie off down here to keep our length. All right, now you can see our charge line wire, we've brought it up here. This, depending on your coach, the best way to do it would be to plug in your pigtail and test and see which pin that you have your 12 volt signal, but that's the one we want to connect to. And in our case, from our RV, that's going to be the center. So as we put our plug in place, we'll be using that center wire. We'll just strip back that wire. Going to give that a good twist, and like we said, since the center points are 12 volt power, that's where we'll need to connect it. Now we'll finish running our wire back here. This is the positive post on the battery. I think we're going to be putting our breaker right in this area, so it should work out pretty well. We should have close to the right amount of wire. Just kind of keeping it tucked down and under, kind of keep it hidden. Now we're going to leave just a little bit of extra there, trim it off. Then we'll strip both ends back. Now in our kit we have 3 ring terminals. We want to use the 2 smaller ones on those ends. Alright, set those aside for now and get our breaker in place. You see the 2 tabs on the breaker are going to stick out. We've got the self-tapping screws provided to get it secured. I'm going to tuck it right underneath this plate here. Keep it protected, kind of down and out of the way. With that mounted in place, let's pull the nuts off of each side. Now the wire we brought up from the plug on the front is going to go to the silver stud. I'm going to tighten that up. We're going to use a 3/8 wrench or socket, whatever you need. Now to the copper side, we'll attach our jumper there. Now if we press in on these 2 tabs here and here, we can open our cover up. Then we'll bring our jumper wire. We're going to go right to this stud. It's going to be in a direct link through the fuse to the positive post. Trim that off, strip it back, and add the larger ring terminal. Now we're going to connect this right to the stud here. To remove that nut, you'll want a 13mm socket. Place our ring terminal over and then replace our nut. I'm going to use a couple zip ties and just zip tie that off to that cable. Now with everything secured, that's going to complete our installation of the Roadmaster battery charge line kit for towed vehicles. Part number RM-156-25 on our 2017 GMC Acadia.